We chose Covenant because of the like-minded families, teachers, and the coaches. And we found that it was important to surround ourselves with like-minded families for the duration of our son's schooling.
One of the unique things about Covenant Academy is that we do expect it to be an extension of the home. And so what we mean by this is that what you are teaching your children at home, we expect to continue to be teaching them here at school.
We delight in coming alongside parents and training up their children in the Lord. Our desire is to, Scripture says, train up a child in the way they should go, and when they're old, they will not depart from it. Proverbs 22:6, and so that is Covenant's goal. We are a boldly Christian school. We're strongly academic, so we're training both the heart and minds of students, and it's a joy just to watch the young children as we pour into them each day as they come to school.
Teach the catechisms to my children at home, and they've been going through catechism since they were about 3 years old. And then when we come here at Covenant Academy, we know that they're being taught the same exact catechisms. So they come home repeating and singing the same songs that we sing at home in that church, doing the same catechisms that we do at home in that church. And we believe that that partnership between the home and the school with the relationship with the church is a good balance that helps educate and train the whole student in that pursuit of truth, goodness, and beauty, which is ultimately our goal as a classical school.
Classical education really came out of the early Greeks' pursuit of virtue and trying to understand what these fundamental virtues are. They ultimately settled on truth, goodness, and beauty being the virtues which all other virtues and truth are based on. Today, we take those same three virtues of truth, goodness, and beauty, and we bring them into our classroom as the virtues that we believe all of education is based on. All truth in the world comes from Christ. All that is good comes from Christ. All that is beautiful ultimately comes from Christ. Classical education is laid out in 3 stages, and we call these 3 stages the trivium. The first stage is the grammar stage. So in this stage, in the grammar stage, the students are exploring truth, goodness, and beauty through memorization, through recitations, through being able to learn the proper answer to many of life's questions and be able to respond appropriately when asked. The second stage of the trivium is the logic stage. And this is the stage that happens somewhere between 6th and 9th grade. And this is when students naturally begin asking their own questions as to why something is true. In the grammar stage, students naturally accept what the teacher says as truth. In the logic stage, they begin to ask the questions, why is this true? And then the rhetoric stage is the final stage of the trivium, and this happens somewhere between 9th and 12th grade. The rhetoric stage emphasizes the natural place that students are at in wanting to express their own ideas. So we've learned the fundamental building blocks of truth in the grammar stage. We've learned how to reason through all the different information that's out there with our why questions in the logic stage. And then in the rhetoric stage, we really enable the students to voice their own opinion and to have dialogue with each other, even when there's disagreement.
I've been at Covenant since I was 4. I grew up in the halls in the grammar school. It's really special to start as a 4-year-old and make it all the way to an 18-year-old here because it's basically like a family. When you learn all the catechisms and Bible verses in grammar school and then you come to the upper school, they translate into what you learn and how you view your curriculum. I've been in the art room since 9th grade every single day. I've learned more techniques and skills than most people are able to in high school just because of the small setting and Miss Whitworth's dedication to her students. And I have learned how to develop my craft and use it in ways that make paintings meaningful to people.
They educated the future generations of Greeks through an apprentice and master relationship. And this master-apprentice relationship manifests itself in having a learner that would follow a master teacher along. The master lived out the truth in the presence of his learner, and the learner then sought to master the content that the teacher was trying to explain.
As a teacher, I love teaching at Covenant Academy because I am working with students whose families have the same worldview and beliefs that I do and what I want for my children who also go here. What would make me feel like a success is if my students loved learning, if they saw that what I do is for them. It's not for me, it's not for the money. It is so that they can learn, so then they can be good citizens later.
Something I remember about Covenant is the ability to do everything. Like, I feel like it's a small school and I was involved in so much. I did one act in spring musical, and I was a cheerleader, and I did tennis, and I did track 1 year. And that was supported. You know, a lot of high schools, you do one thing and that's it, but I feel like I was able to kind of enjoy a lot of things and then meet a lot of different people through that. And I also really appreciated the support from teachers. That was something I noticed different about college, was I didn't have that relationship with teachers that I did in high school. And I really felt like here at Covenant, I was very supported from the day I walked in until the day I graduated, and even past that. So
I really had great teachers, great experience with that, great friends, and I just really enjoyed it. I remember my parents saying, like, after the end of my first couple of years here at Covenant, that their only regret is they hadn't sent me here sooner, because they enjoyed the life here at Covenant. I enjoyed it, and it was just a really good experience all in all.
Even though this is an ancient educational model rooted in the Greeks, the principles and how that education comes about and how it fosters the development of a whole person in an apprentice relationship really will serve our future generations better than any other educational model, because we're creating thinkers.
We want our children to leave the school not only prepared academically, but it was more important to us that they were prepared to face what the world has with God in their hearts. We're doing that at home, but to have it be a part of their everyday, that was our number one goal with our kids.